is CTV News.
Houston Integrity splashdown, sending post-landing command now.
Splashdown confirmed.
Back from the farthest reaches of human spaceflight, the Artemis 2 crew splashing down in the Pacific tonight, ending a 10-day history-making journey around the moon. Good evening and thanks for joining us. Canada's Jeremy Hansen and his crewmates now safely out of the Orion spacecraft, all in good health after that landmark mission. With more on their return, here's CTV's Joy Malbin.
From a soothing wake-up song in space to a nerve-wracking homecoming, NASA troubleshooting. They changed the re-entry route to make it less dangerous. Only 13 minutes of searing heat as the space capsule Orion hurtled towards the Earth at 40,000 kilometers an hour. Described by the pilot as riding a fireball, the return is harrowing, tough on the body, says retired Canadian astronaut Chris Hadfield.
After 10 days of weightlessness, they'll be getting now crushed with 3 or 4 times their weight, where it's hard to even lift your arm up, and it feels like your eyeballs are being crushed with the flames licking around their vehicle.
The first parachute slowing Orion down for a soft splashdown in the Pacific. The Artemis 2 crew traveled deeper into space than any other humans, collecting scientific data and giving us stunning new celestial images of the moon and planet Earth. Reflecting on it all, Canada's Jeremy Hansen.
We live on a fragile planet in the vacuum in the void of space. Our purpose on the planet as humans is to find joy, to find the joy in lifting each other up by creating solutions together instead of destroying.
And there were unforgettable moments. A moon crater named after Commander Reed Weissman's late wife.
It's a bright spot on the moon, and we would like to call it Carol.
Talking to the Prime Minister.
Canadians are so proud of what you're doing.
The U.S. President.
Congratulations to everybody. I'll see you at the Oval Office.
Fixing a lunar loo.
We definitely have to fix some of the plumbing.
And chasing a floating Nutella jar. On their last day in space, the crew sent messages home.
I just want to look at my daughters, Ellie and Katie, and just say I love you.
Joy Malbin, CTV News, Washington.
In Sarnia, a young hockey player is dead, 2 others injured after gunfire broke out at Lambton College bar early this morning. With the latest on the investigation, here's CTV's Brian Bicknell.
Forensic investigators combed the scene at the south side of Lambton College in Sarnia. They're looking for evidence related to a fatal shooting. Police say 20-year-old Dane Nisbet of Sarnia died in hospital after being shot outside the Lion's Den pub on campus. 2 males with him were also shot and sustained non-life-threatening injuries. It happened just before 1 Friday morning.
Our initial response was extensive. All available patrol units were immediately dispatched to attend the scene. Given the severity of the incident, we activated our emergency response team and a K-9 team to conduct an extensive search of the building and the surrounding area.
There's quite a bit of evidence to process. There's all types of forensic evidence, the standard stuff you have probably heard about often, DNA, fingerprints. There'll be blood at the scene. Anytime there's a shooting of this nature.
According to Lambton College, an event run by the Student Council was taking place at the pub at the time of the shooting. Police say they don't believe the school was targeted, nor was the shooting politically motivated.
We're not ready to say what the relationship between the potential suspects and the victims are. We did touch on the multiple victims are known to each other, but we will not be commenting at this point what the relationship with the suspects are.
Police could not say whether the victims are students, but Dane Nisbet is well known in the local hockey community.
Sarnia is a small community. What makes it more difficult is that we know these people. We know a lot of people in Sarnia, so it makes it very difficult for our officers to have to respond to these types of incidents at our singular college with the students that go there.
Of course, no classes here today as the college made the decision to close the campus under the circumstances. Officials here declined our request for an interview, saying they're focused instead on supporting students and community members affected by this tragedy. In a statement posted to social media, the college called the loss a profound tragedy. We extend our deepest condolences to the individual's family, loved ones, and friends, and to everyone affected by this staggering loss. Our thoughts are with everyone impacted by this senseless act of violence. The Minister of Colleges and Universities offered his condolences.
My thoughts are with the loved ones of the victim, the injured individuals, and the entire campus community during this tragic time. Mental health supports are available for anyone who may need them.
In the meantime, police say no arrests have been made and no weapons recovered. The suspects fled the scene before they arrived. Brian Bicknell, CTV News.
New video tonight from Windsor police as they try to track down the person they say smashed the window of an East End business. Police say 2 weeks ago, a suspect used large rocks to shatter the front windows of a business on Wyandotte Street East in the middle of the night, then fled through a nearby parking lot. Windsor police providing this video of the suspect described as slender, wearing a hoodie, jogging pants, and a face covering. It happened just after 1:30 a.m. on March 27th. Investigators are now asking anyone in the area to check security or dash cam video between midnight and 1:30 that night and give them a call. Windsor fire officials are investigating a $400,000 basement fire on Prince Road. It started late last night in the basement beneath a convenience store with a cause under investigation. The top floor of the building includes residential space and 4 people have been displaced as a result of the fire. No injuries were reported. The Spits are off and running in round 2, getting the series started on the right foot with a Game 1 win on home ice.
Circles around in behind the net to the front of the goal, and he scores! Jack Nesbitt, back of the net, a power play goal with less than 5 to play.
Windsor came out flying, Garden opening the scoring on the power play, Brocklehurst doubling the lead, but Flint pushes back, cutting it to 1, then tying it in the third. From there, it turns into a battle, tight checking, a little extra edge, and then the Spits break through. Jack Nesbitt cashes in on the power play for the game winner, then buried the empty netter to ice it as Windsor takes home 1-4-2. Game 2 goes Sunday at the WFCU Center. Puck drop is set for 4:05 p.m. Debate and discussion in Kingsville as the University of Windsor looks to open a specialized research facility in town. Some people call it a body farm, and it's about studying how human remains decompose under certain conditions. CTV's Stephanie Mazzotti explains.
In a wooded area like this in Kingsville, the University of Windsor wants to build a 2 to 3 acre facility to study what happens to human remains from the time of death to discovery, an area of research known as forensic taphonomy.
It's not an indoor building that people often think we're like a lab. We're not. We call ourselves an outdoor or an open air research facility.
Shari Forbes is the program chair of forensic science at the university. She will lead the research to recover and identify victim remains of missing persons, homicides, and mass disaster cases.
Identifying a victim can be very challenging, particularly if a bone or skeletal remains are discovered and there's just no context. But even understanding how long a person has been deceased, if they've been concealed, like in a shallow burial or some other form such as in water.
The work can be vital for law enforcement. Investigations like the murder of Windsor's Sarha Boulay, who was reported missing in May of 2023. Her body was found a week later in a wooded area near Huron Church Road.
Something like that is really out of the ordinary. It's innovative, that's for sure. There's not too many places in the world that have it, I understand.
He's right. There are only 13 of these types of forensic research facilities in the world. 10 are in the U.S., 1 in the Netherlands. The others are in Quebec and Australia, both previously headed by Forbes. The location of the Kingsville proposal will remain undisclosed to protect the privacy of families who donate remains for research.
I think that's a problem, especially for the neighboring people that live around it. They should have to disclose that.
Forbes adds the benefits won't solely be research-based. The facility will generate its own economic benefits.
we will attract students from all across Ontario and all across Canada, bringing researchers, their supervisors, and they will stay long term. I mean, they could stay days or weeks at a time.
The project could cost up to $1 million, paid for through university, provincial, and federal funds. And if approved by Kingsville Council, construction could begin sometime next year.
Stephanie Mazzotti, CTV News.
A step forward for the Wallaceburg Hospital redevelopment project today, with millions handed over to push it into the final design phase. CTV's Chris Campbell has the latest.
A major step forward for the Wallaceburg Hospital redevelopment project. A $2.5 million grant from the province will fund the final stage of planning, allowing Chatham-Kent Health Alliance to complete detailed designs and construction documents for its Sydenham campus.
This is the final one before we announce construction. So this is a really exciting final step in the construction process.
Officials say once that work is complete, it will be submitted to the province for approval before the project can go to tender.
I'm going to wait on the government for that approval. I'm going to say it's going to take about a year. And then we'll go out to tender.
The overall cost of the redevelopment is estimated at around $50 million. Local leaders say the project has been driven by strong community support from the start.
This is truly a jewel in the crown in Chatham-Kent, and it's a big step, and you know it's just moving things forward.
It was really a grassroots effort that made all this happen. You know, there was a time where we weren't sure if this facility was going to be here anymore. So to get this funding from the provincial government to keep this project going, keep this hospital in Wallaceburg for the long term, it means so much to everybody.
Fundraising efforts are also continuing, with millions already raised towards the foundation's goal.
The $7 million that we've raised so far is a testament to the love that the residents in this community have for their hospital.
It's not shovels in the ground, but with this new provincial funding, the Wallaceburg Hospital redevelopment is one step closer to construction and to a modernized facility for the community. Once complete, the project will include a new emergency department, expanded diagnostic imaging, and additional inpatient services.
It's really going to be great to have this hospital brand new, and then we can look at the campus and what else we can add to the campus after that to make sure that we're serving the needs of the community.
Chris Campbell, CTV News.
The mayor of Essex is demanding answers after she says new dog pound numbers raised red flags. Mayor Sherry Bondi says she was caught off guard to learn Essex led the region in dogs impounded in 2025 and racked up the most dog days, pushing costs higher. Dog days refer to the total number of days dogs are kept in the pound. She also is sounding the alarm on animal welfare after 5 dogs from Essex were euthanized, the most in the system. Now, Bondi wants a full breakdown from Lakeshore, including how those decisions are made, as council weighs whether to change its dog pound contract. And over on our website, you'll find the details of a $20,000 funding boost for Kingsville's Highland Games from the province, money for advertising, with the games scheduled for late June. A push to move the downtown Windsor mission, as business leaders say it's hurting the first impression of the core. The head of the downtown BIA says he'll bring the issue to council Monday, arguing the current location has become a daily challenge for businesses. Chris McLeod says people are often gathered around the site and nearby sidewalks, and that visibility right at the heart of the core is a major concern for the area's image and foot traffic.
I think it's a necessary service. I think they need to be doing what they do, but they can't be the first thing that everybody sees when they come into downtown and the last thing everybody sees when they leave.
The debate comes as council reviews its multi-million-dollar downtown revitalization plan aimed at boosting safety, cleanliness, and business growth. Part of that strategy includes tackling the impact of homelessness, mental health, and addiction issues, City Hall says are complex and growing.
These are complex issues that every city across our country, I dare to say across the continent, are dealing with today. So we're finding ways to deal with those. Having that structure and that operation on our main street is less than desirable, and we certainly have a shared interest to work with the mission, the DWBI, and all the partners to see that facility and those services relocated elsewhere.
A numbered company has been fined $50,000 following an $80 million drug bust in Leamington. CTV's Michelle Molesky reports.
Windsor's Superior Court of Justice hosted a virtual hearing Friday. The lawyer for a numbered company called 2732304 Ontario Limited pleaded guilty to unlawfully cultivating cannabis. Court learned on November 18, 2020, 89,000 live cannabis plants and 5,300 pounds of dried product were seized from a greenhouse on Mercia Road 3. Authorities estimate the cannabis was worth $80 million wholesale. At the time, the numbered company had a Health Canada license to grow just over 1,000 cannabis plants. They were busted with 55 times more than allowed when nearly 90,000 cannabis plants were seized by the OPP. 11 people were initially charged, followed by another 9 from subsequent search warrants. During Friday's hearing, all those charges were stayed, including those against Kai-Young Jin Woo, who court learned is the president and sole director of that numbered company. Her company, 2732304 Ontario Limited, has 14 days to pay the $50,000 fine. Michelle Molesky, CTV News.
CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald has your full weather details coming up in 2 minutes' time. Warming up, we've got some tips as you get gardening. CTV meteorologist Gary Archibald is here with our first look at the weather tonight. And Gary, there are 2 W's the viewers need to prepare for. We're getting warmer and we're getting wetter.
Warm and wet. You're right about that. W and W, that's the story. All right, I'm going to go home now. I'm just kidding. I think that's what's really important is that we establish the norms for this time of the year. 12 degrees, call it, for a daytime high. And this time next week, we could see temperatures close to 20 degrees Celsius. Today was seasonal, right? 11.4, average is 12. We saw rain showers from this expansive, look at this cold front, stretching showers and thunderstorms through the state of Oklahoma into Arkansas and then right through the Ohio Valley, and along the way it passed right through Michigan and southern Ontario proper. It's well to our east and southeast, and that means we'll see a bit of a clearing. Tomorrow morning looks good. Mostly sunny, in fact, by the afternoon, a high of about 12 degrees. And then the next system rolls in from the northwest, and with that, some showers and maybe a light thunder shower rolling through, but I think it will be rain. Now, this computer model is suggesting at least through Saturday we remain dry through the afternoon. So that's good to see no rain on that map. And this map gives us an idea of how cool it's going to be tomorrow morning pre-dawn, down to 2 degrees. Some areas in low-lying regions across extreme southwest Ontario could be closer to the freezing mark. So keep that in mind. Remember, our plants are still quite susceptible to frost damage at this time of the year. But I promise some sunshine. I think it's going to certainly be a sunny and seasonal day for Saturday. Looks good. The winds are light, either out of the northeast to start, out of the east through the midday and afternoon, a high of 12 degrees Celsius. Enjoy it. Don't forget your sunscreen. Wear those sunglasses. Of course, Sunday, here's that jump. Wow, 23 degrees. We could be 11 degrees above seasonal and still holding on to low 20s through Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And even 19 is well above our average by that time, close to about 12.5, 13. The rain showers, though, maybe could persist for several days. So, W and W, Travis, wet and warm, warm and wet. That is the story for next week. Wherever you are, enjoy your weather. Good night.
Thank you, Gary. Cheaper gas today with a 13-cent drop for Friday in Windsor and no change forecast tonight into Saturday. The average price at the pumps right now is $173.9, but analysts warn drops may just be temporary. CTV's Beth McDonough reports from Toronto.
Old school. For this man, the best way to get around the city is on his gas-powered bicycle.
Every day, all day with gas. $5, fill your tank with a little oil.
But even being economical hasn't alleviated his concerns about spiking gas prices since the end of February and the start of the war with Iran.
Going too much now. I think we need to bring it down a bit.
Drivers in the GTA woke up to a 13-cent liter drop at the pumps and saw stations reduce prices throughout the day. The break thanks to a declared pause in fighting between the U.S. and Iran. Still, drivers are feeling the squeeze on their finances and are being careful how much they spend.
When I hear what the gas number is going to be, that determines how much I feel. Not ideal, but at least it's something.
Before I used to fill up my gas, but now I cannot afford it. I do like a half.
I was used to fill up my tank with the $60. Now it's costing around $80 to $100.
But experts are warning this latest drop may not last because speculators and oil traders aren't sure how the ceasefire is going to play out.
The drop you saw this morning is a sort of an early Christmas present. I would sort of grab that and run because I don't know how long this is going to last.
Gas is expected to drop again Saturday, although if the Strait of Hormuz, that passageway carrying 1/5 of the world's oil, fully opens, is still a wait and see. And diesel, used to transport just about everything, including groceries, is predicted to go up. The Canadian Federation of Independent Grocers says weeks of higher costs are rippling through the supply chain.
Some trucking companies are increasing the cost of getting just a truck to deliver goods is up about $300. On top of that, we've been notified by the suppliers, that's the food companies, they're tacking on surcharges. Sometimes it goes from $25 to $40. Some are just increasing their prices and embedding that into the price.
And so whether it's at the gas station or the grocery store, consumers should prepare for more price pain. Beth McDonnell, CTV News.
Windsor's unemployment rate rose to 8.5% in March. That's up from 8% in February, according to Statistics Canada. Across Canada, the economy added 14,000 jobs, holding the national unemployment rate steady at 6.7%. Job growth was led by service industries, while financial and real estate saw declines. Meanwhile, average hourly wages climbed 4.7% compared to last year, the fastest pace in a year and a half. The new data comes ahead of the Bank of Canada's next interest rate decision on April 29th. Canada's main stock index was up on strength in base metals and technology stocks. In Toronto, the TSX gained 218 points. In New York, the Dow fell 270, but the Nasdaq added 80. The Canadian dollar was down 0.02 And on commodity markets, gold lost more than $30 an ounce, and oil dropped $1.30 a barrel. CTV News Windsor has launched a newsletter helping you start your day with the latest local news. By signing up, you'll get direct local content straight from CTV Windsor to your inbox, including top stories, the forecast, and videos. You can sign up at ctvnewswindsor.ca. You know what they say about these April showers. We have to hope they'll bring us those May flowers, but it's not too early to get gardening. Gary returning with our weekly segment alongside horticulturalist Sandy McDonald.
Sandy McDonald joins me again for our third installment this year of Get Gardening. Good to see you, sir. We are talking about indicators in our garden and what they tell us given the time of the season. So what are we looking at today?
This is the one that a lot of people know. It's forsythia, or actually more correctly called Forsythias. Try to get a couple here that are maybe not as damaged by as a frost. They're a little bit frost damage on them. It's a plant that almost everyone knows, early blooming before the leaves come out, and it's a great indicator for the garden. When it comes into bloom, that's our time to apply our preventative herbicide to lawns. And this is a natural biological herbicide called corn gluten. And of course, you grow lots of corn in southwest Ontario, and the gluten is the protein part of it, and it acts as a natural weed and seed. So it's an interesting product. And if you're trying to rid crabgrass or from germination of new weeds in the lawn, the time to apply it is when forsythia is in bloom. And applied according to the directions, of course. It's safe for people and animals, and it'll help prevent weeds from spreading. The weeds that are already present, so that perhaps dandelions, we're going to be seeing lots of those soon. I see lots of flowers on the ones that are close to buildings already, or the plantain, any other lawn weeds that are perennial that come up year to year, it will not control that. We'll probably need an iron-based spray to control those. And it's a little too cool now. It wouldn't take up that iron product at this time of year. So prevention is the key, and forsythia is the one that is an indicator plant for us.
All right. Sandy McDonald, thank you for your expertise. And that wraps it up for Get Gardening this week. We will see you for another installment next week.
Discussion here at Windsor City Hall.
Windsor's top stories.
A major project is about to get underway.
Breaking news alerts.
Severe weather is a possibility.
And watch live.
Good evening, and thank you for joining us.
Download the CTV News app.
Before we say goodbye for the week, let's take another look at the 7-day forecast with the hardest working meteorologist in the game, Gary Archibald. One last time for the week. Gary, I don't know. It's going to rain. I don't want to talk about it. You talk about it.
Yeah, it's going to rain, and I'll remain right here. Thank you for the accolades. I appreciate it. Humbly so. What could humble us is the rain, right? No matter where we are, despite the temperatures surging into the low 20s, this looks like a forecast we would see in the month of May. Tomorrow is seasonal, 12. That's normal or average for this time of the year. Sunny, especially in the afternoon. And then it's cloudy for the next 5 days straight and rainy. I think there's a good probability of seeing rain early Sunday morning. 23, 23, 23. Nice stretch. 21, then 23. Look at that 5 days, Sunday through to Thursday. And even Friday, a week from now, we're looking at 19, mostly cloudy. So, warm and definitely wet. The rain showers are on the way. Enjoy your weekend, folks. Travis, thanks again for the kind words. Have yourselves a good night.
Thank you, Gary. Finally tonight, Windsor firefighters were kept busy last year, but not just battling flames. A baby boom in the local fire service. 29 firefighters welcomed a total of 30 babies to their families in 2025. Yes, including one set of twins. That amounts to about 12% of the local force adding little ones to celebrate the department sharing this special two-generation team photo. That's our time for tonight. We hope to see you back here on Monday. For now, I'm Travis Fortnum. Have a great weekend.